Hello, everyone, and welcome to the class. My name is Audrey, and just in a few minutes, we will begin with our reading lesson of the day. Okay, so today we're going to be looking at an article, taking a look at an article and going through the pronunciation and meaning of the words and phrases within the article. So as usual, my reading classes are not just about reading, but also about discussion. So we will have the opportunity to discuss the article throughout and maybe get a sense of your opinions. Okay, so we have a couple students. Hadi, welcome to the class. How are you?
Thank you. How are you doing?
Great, nice to see you. Where are you from?
Nice to see you too. I'm from Iran.
Iran, very good. And I don't think I've had the opportunity to meet you before, so it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Yeah, we didn't meet each other.
Yeah, so how long have you been on Verbling?
I think about 10 days ago. 10 days
Okay.
ago, I took part about 2-3 class only.
Okay, very good. Well, it's nice to see you in this class today. Okay, and we have Morhaf. How are you? Are you with us? Okay, maybe not. Maybe not. And Anastasia, I see that you're having some trouble getting in the class. I hope that maybe you can get in as soon as the class is open to everybody. I'm not sure what's wrong because I know that you tried to get in last class, but you might need to send a message and contact tech support. Okay, so as I said, today we are going to talk about an article, read an article together and discuss it. So in just a few moments, everybody will be able to join the class. But our article today is talking about mistakes in the workplace. Okay, mistakes in the workplace. So when I ask you to introduce yourself, just as soon as everybody gets in the class, I will ask you if you would like to share the biggest mistake that you've made in the workplace. Okay, so go ahead and join if you have been waiting to join, and we will begin in just a few moments. Okay, so welcome everyone to the class. Nice to see some familiar faces. Hi, Gustavo.
Hi, Audrey. How
Hi,
are you?
Henry. Good. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Okay, very nice. And we also have Michele here. Nice to see you, Michele.
Hi, Audrey. Nice to see you too.
And Victor. Hi, Victor. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started with our introductions. Gergo, how are you? Are you there, Gergo? Maybe not. Your microphone might be muted. Oh, I think now you're here. Hi, are you there, Gergo?
Hi, Audrey.
Hi, nice to see you. I think you're having some problems with your mic.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you. We may be having some connection issues. I'm sorry. Hopefully, Gergo, you'll come back. But we'll start with Gustavo. Gustavo, could you tell us what is the biggest mistake you have had in the workplace? And also tell us where you're from.
I'm from Colombia. Could you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, the question is, have you ever made a big mistake on your job?
Okay. Well, I have to think very well.
That's good because that means at least you don't make too many mistakes, right?
No, I think I have committed many mistakes in the work. Mm, well, in one occasion, I working in one store. In this store, they sell products related with veterinary and agriculture things,
Mm-hmm.
and instead of and I committed a mistake with the facturation. Is
Mm-hmm.
right? Factory.
Maybe what exactly do you mean?
Um, is I don't know how to say in English, but isn't like when you sell something, you you give the other person the product and one paper.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
A receipt.
eso. Okay, yes,
Mm-hmm.
receive. And the mistake was I in the receipt there was there was m- m- few products uh, than I give to the person.
Okay, so not all of the products were on the receipt.
Yes,
And did you get in
and
trouble for that?
yes, but then the trouble is not a very big trouble because the person was kind and the problem fixed
Mm-hmm.
the
Okay.
problem.
Very
And
good. So I'm glad it wasn't too big of a mistake.
yes.
Okay, so let's go next to Gergu. Hopefully we can hear you now.
Hi, Audrey. Can
Hi,
you
we can
hear
hear
me?
you. Yes, good. Okay, so tell us where you're from
So,
and tell us about a mistake that you made on your job.
I'm from Hungary, and I am a student
Okay.
now, so I don't work yet. But sometimes if I do some student work, sometimes I I I did late. For example, I sleep
Oh, yes.
and I late.
Okay, very good. And it's still a little bit difficult. I think maybe the connection might be a little bad with your microphone. So it's still a little bit difficult to hear you, to understand, but hopefully it will get a little bit better as we continue. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so let's go next. We have Hadi. Can you tell us where you're from and tell us about a mistake that you made on your job?
I'm from Iran. Actually, it might be funny, but I don't think I made because I just graduated from university and I didn't work that much, so I don't remember a big mistake that I have done.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, that's good.
yeah, yeah, right now this day I work as a freelancer. I'm a programmer, so uh, I work as freelancer. I'm a programmer, so I make many mistakes usually in my
Mm-hmm.
programming because programming actually mean making mistakes. But in the workplace, I mean, when working with other people, I don't remember very big mistakes. But yeah,
Okay.
in my programming, we write like 300 lines of code, and only one character is wrong. So
Right.
only we miss one character, and the whole program doesn't work. So I
Exactly.
made that kind of mistakes,
Mhm.
but not usually related to other people.
Okay, very good, very good. Let's go next to Mauricio. How are you?
Hello, teacher.
Nice to see you. Where are you from?
I'm from Chile.
Okay, very good. And tell us about a mistake that you've made on your job.
Well, I have no job at the moment. I'm just a student of English.
Okay, very good. Have you ever made a mistake as a student?
Yeah, all the time. As Elena, I make mistakes all the time, but I'm trying to improve them.
Okay, very good. And how long have you been here in Verbling?
No, this is my first time using babbling.
Oh, wonderful. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
I hope this can help you to make even less mistakes.
Okay.
Okay, very good. So it's nice to meet you. Let's go next to Michele.
Hi, Audrey.
Hello.
So, I think that one time I made a mistake. I missed my appointment, my job appointment.
Ah, I see. And what
Yeah.
happened?
I completely forgot that I made an appointment, that I had an appointment, and the chief of my school said, called me on the phone and said, "Michele, where are you? You you should be here." And
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Oh my God."
Did you have to
So
go fast?
yes.
How late were you?
1/2 hour.
Okay, so it could have been worse. At least you got to show up, right?
Yes, I ran to the school, and unfortunately, the students don't get to his house. Don't get back to his house.
Mm-hmm. Good. And you said you're a teacher?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good, very good. So let's go next to Warhap. Are you there? Okay. Let us know if you come back, or maybe if you get your microphone working. Let's go next
Hi.
to. Oh, now you're here. Hi.
Okay. Hi. That's my first time in Berlin.
Okay, very good. Nice to meet you. Where are you from?
I'm from Syria.
Okay, great. And do you have a story to share with us? Have you ever made a big mistake on your job?
Sometimes I arrived late to work, and
Mm-hmm. Do you get in a lot of trouble when you get late? Or is it okay when you're late sometimes? Are you still there, Morhaf? Okay, maybe we'll come back, but it's nice to see you here in Verbling. I hope you come to future classes, and I hope you find this class to be interesting. So let's go next to Ricardo. How are you?
Hi, teacher. Hi, everyone. I am from Colombia, but now I live in Madrid, Spain. And now I am unemployed because the crisis in Spain is very, very hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is the first time that I connect in Berlin. I like so much. It's beautiful.
Yes, I'm so glad we have several new students here. I hope this will be a pleasant experience for you. Okay,
Yeah.
very good. And tell us, why did you go to Spain, Ricardo?
Sorry, repeat, please.
Why did you go to Spain?
I come to Spain in 2000.
Okay, so you've been there for quite a while.
Sorry, I can understand good.
Okay, no problem. I
Repeat the
said
question.
you've been there for quite a while, for a long time.
Yeah, a long time here in Spain. All years I am working in big factory, but now I repeat for the crisis is very difficult because many factories are closed
Mhm.
because don't have work.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, very good. And we'll go next to Victor. You could even tell us a little bit more about the crisis, right? You're from Spain.
Yeah. Hello, I'm glad to see you again. I
Yes,
worked
good to see
in
you.
banking, and in one occasion, I did a transfer to the wrong account.
Ah, was
Uh,
it a large one?
but fortunately, I realized that, and I fixed the problem at the end of the day.
Okay, good, good. That can be very dangerous working in banking, right?
Yeah.
I know my brother worked at a bank and he made the same mistake. He made
Yeah.
a wrong transaction and it was several
Yeah.
thousand dollars.
It depends of the program they using, because
Mhm.
some programs are confusing because they grab the account of the last operation in occasions.
Oh, I see. I see. So it can be an easy mistake to make sometimes.
Mm.
Okay, very good. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the article. I'm going to put it up on the screen and I'll also give you links both in the Verbling chat and the Google chat. So just wait a moment if you want to see the article in the chat box. And let me know if you cannot access it or if you can't see it well. We'll try to fix things. But as I said before, and if you haven't attended one of my reading classes, we just take turns reading the sections. So I'll have you read an individual section, and after that, I'll correct any pronunciation errors that you had, and everybody can ask questions if there are any questions about vocabulary or the meaning. Okay, so let's start with the first paragraph. And we will begin with, let's see, Gergin, could you read this one?
Okay. When James reflects on mistakes from past jobs, he cringes to think about printing 4 million copies of a well-known US magazine with the wrong date on the cover. It was the early 1980s, and James was working as an offset stripper who worked on printing presses. He could only wait in horror as his little mistake was distributed across the country.
Okay, very good, very good. No real pronunciation mistakes. You had a very good pronunciation. So I will ask, are there any questions here that anybody in the class has? Are there any words you didn't understand?
What it
Cringes.
means cringes. Yes.
Right, it says he cringes to think. Does anybody know what it means to cringe? Anybody seen this word before?
I think I didn't see the word, but I think it means he didn't want to think about it. I
Right.
mean,
Okay, so to cringe is kind of to feel pain almost. So he cringes to think about it. He almost feels pain when he thinks about it because it's so unpleasant. Okay, so he cringes to think about his really bad mistake that he made on the job. So this article is starting out talking about James who made a big mistake. What was his mistake so far in the paragraph that we've read? What happened?
he printed the wrong date on the cover of the magazine.
Exactly. So he printed the wrong date on 4 million copies of the magazine. So I don't know if anybody has made that large of a mistake, but that's a pretty big mistake.
Yeah, but that's strange, right? Someone else should also check that out. I mean, a magazine that have 4 million copies. I mean, there should be many people that check that date and that these kind of things,
Right,
right?
so it seems like somebody should have looked at the magazine before he pressed print, right?
Yeah, many people, I think.
Okay, yeah. Any other questions? Were there any other words or phrases that you didn't understand in this section?
Offset in the second paragraph.
Yeah, it says he was working as an offset stripper. And I honestly cannot tell you what this job is specifically, but it says the next sentence, who works on printing presses. So it's a job title. An offset stripper is somebody who works on the printing press. So I don't work for a printing press company, so I don't know what an offset stripper is. Okay, but as long as you understand that that is his job, that was his job title. Any other questions? Okay, let's go to the next one. And always you can make comments on the article as we go through it. So next we have Gustavo. Would you like to read the next one?
The memory is burned into his brain. It resurfaced earlier this month when he learned of the nurse in the United Kingdom who put through a prank call from two Australian DJs to the ward where Prince William's wife, Catherine, was being treated for morning sickness.
Okay, very good. The only one I want to point out is this one, resurfaced.
Okay.
Okay, everything else is good. And if you'll notice, if you're familiar with this story about the nurse in the United Kingdom, that happened a couple months ago, so this article is a little bit dated. But did anybody hear about this nurse in the United Kingdom?
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about it if you've heard about it.
Two Australian of DJs or broadcasters of radio called to the hospital, and the girl lie and say that she was the she was I don't know the
For the royal family.
Right. He said that he was part of the family or a relative, I think.
Yeah. And she take a conversation with her, with the nurse.
Okay, yeah. So these two DJs, they were asking for information about the the Prince William's wife. Okay, so yeah, this is another instance of a mistake in the workplace. These DJs made this mistake. Maybe it was more intentional. It wasn't really on accident, but the consequences were something that they did not expect.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions here? Any vocab questions?
Prank.
Let's see, where is it? Oh, a prank call. Okay, so what is a prank? What is a prank call? Anybody know?
Isn't it playing a trick on somebody? So
Exactly. To play a trick on somebody. So a prank call is when you call somebody and you're playing a trick on them. Okay, any other questions? Okay, let's go to the next section. And we have, Hadi, would you like to read this next one?
Yeah, sure. Sorry. While the circumstance of the nurse's death remained unclear, the incident prompted James and many other readers to share a story of dealing with a stressful situation on the job, making mistakes and moving on.
Okay, very good. So in this case, the nurse that we talked about in the previous example, in the previous paragraph, died, and it says, while the circumstances of her death remain unclear, some people attribute her death to the prank call that the DJs made. So this incident prompted others to share stories of stressful job situations. Okay, so that's kind of the background of this section of the article. As long
Sorry,
as you
teacher.
understand. Yes, go ahead.
I didn't understand. Why the nurse died?
Can you say one more time?
Sorry, teacher. I didn't understand why the nurse died.
Yeah, so a lot of people speculate that the nurse committed suicide because of the prank call.
Only for a
So
prank
they
call?
need,
She had depression, and she was depressive.
right, so the nurse was suffering from depression, and
Yeah.
she got the prank call from the DJs. And a lot of people say that that prank call that the DJs played on her was what caused her to commit suicide.
That's okay.
Okay, so this would be an example of a very big mistake in the workplace. And even though the circumstances are unclear, it still prompted people to share their stories about other stressful situations in the workplace. Okay, does that help to understand it a little bit better?
Yes, yes.
Any other questions? Okay, let's go to the next section. And we have Luis, how are you? Are you with us, Luis? Okay, let's go to Michele. Would you like to read this one?
Yes. Mistakes are an opportunity to see how you can do something differently. In almost every case, I have had to take the action of documenting every little thing that went wrong, why it went wrong, and how this was never going to happen again.
Okay, perfect. So any questions here? Okay, we can think on the examples that they shared before. So maybe even though the first one we had somebody printing 4 million copies with the right date, and maybe, Hadi, as you were saying, after this mistake, they realized that many people should look at the magazine before they print it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so mistakes can be an opportunity to improve.
Yes.
Any other comments? Okay, let's go to the next one. And we have, let me see. Sorry, the connection is a little bad today. Morhaf, could you read this one? Are you there, Morhaf? Okay, we'll go to Ricardo.
Okay, the commenter said he once was mortified to find that he had somehow stripped the last names from everyone in a database. His co-workers made up a song about him to the tune of Candyman, asking who can take the last name and throw it all away?
Okay, very good, very good. Let's look at this word mortified. I wanted to point out that pronunciation, mortified. Okay, everything else was good. Are there any questions? We have a lot of noise. If you can, go ahead and mute your microphone if you're having a lot of noise coming from your microphone. Any questions? Does anybody know the song Candyman?
No.
So I have heard that song. I think Christina Aguilera.
Christina Aguilera?
Yes, Christina
Okay,
Aguilera.
maybe she has another song called Candyman. I don't know.
I don't. She repeat the Candyman in that song multiple times.
Oh, okay. Okay, I haven't heard it, but the original song Candyman is from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So they're making a joke about him throwing away all the names in the database. So that's also a very big mistake.
Sorry, teacher, can you sing this?
I can't. But maybe I can post a link that you can listen to it.
That's okay.
I'm not going to make a fool of myself. But I appreciate the question. Okay, any other questions?
What's stripped?
Yeah, it says he had somehow stripped last names from everyone in the database. Stripped or erased. So this is another commenter who's commenting on this problem of mistakes and stress in the workplace. And he accidentally removed or erased all the last names from everyone in the database.
By the way, these days people make backup of their database, so this problem also.
Right. You're always thinking of solutions to these problems.
I'm programmer, so these kind of things, making mistakes.
Right. It seems like these are maybe some simple mistakes to fix, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know, human always make mistakes. So this is something that happened to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's necessary maybe sometimes to double check things. Mm-hmm.
We automate to remove the mistakes. We use computer to remove the mistakes.
Yeah. Although sometimes computers can make mistakes, right?
Yeah, but
that's why it's important to back up the files, right? Okay, very good. Let's go to the next section. And we have Victor. Would you like to read this one?
Yeah. After his initial panicked reaction, he calmed down and came up with ways to rectify the situation. I spent 2 days calling those 500 people, getting their last names, he said. Management figured that was punishment enough.
Okay, very good. So what did he have to do to get those names back?
He had to call of these people.
Right, exactly. He had to call all 500 people that were in the database and get their last names. And that was his punishment. Management didn't punish him any more than that, which is good, because I'm sure that would be quite horrible. Okay, very good. Any questions here? Any vocab questions? Everything's okay?
It's okay.
Okay, let's go to the next section then. And we have Wonderson. Welcome to the class.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, would you like to read this one?
Sure. The commenter.
Right.
Yeah, the commenter said his situation pales in comparison to the stress nurses and hospital workers deal with daily, where lives are at stake. Hospitals are by their nature a stressful place. You have births, sickness, and death, all under one roof, he said. Caregivers are bombarded by every type of emotion on a daily basis.
Okay, perfect. So now we're making a comparison between some of these mistakes and mistakes that you have in hospitals. Before we discuss, any questions? Are there any vocab questions?
Caregivers.
Caregivers?
Caregivers, yeah.
Okay, so who are caregivers? Anybody? The type of people.
Nurses.
The nurses or the doctors?
Right, it could be nurses or doctors.
Yes, care, yes, sure.
Okay, good. Any other questions? Okay, so what do you think about this section? It says hospitals are by their nature a stressful place. It seems like it could be a stressful place to work. Has anybody ever worked in a hospital?
Luckily not.
Okay, do you think that it would be stressful, Michele?
Yes, I think so. You should fight with the life.
Mm-hmm.
You take in your hand the people's life.
Right, right. I can't imagine the stress that you must feel having somebody's life in your hands. Okay, any other comments?
I think it's very stressful because one mistake can lead to the death of one person or can affect the health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so mistakes have a lot more serious consequences maybe in hospitals. So if you make a mistake, like you, Gustavo, you make a mistake on your receipt, then you can fix it. But if you're in a hospital, it's a lot more difficult to fix the mistakes that you make. Okay,
Yes, sometimes it's impossible.
Mm-hmm, right. Any other comments? Okay, let's go to the next section. And let me see. Okay, next we have Willie. How are you, Willie?
Hi, I'm fine. And you?
Good, nice to see you. Where are you from?
I'm from Germany.
Okay, great. Would you like to read this next section?
Yeah, sure. The incident caused him to fear that he would lose his job. but talking to coworkers proved to be helpful, he said. In most of those cases, my coworkers were supportive, and when I needed more support, I just talked to my wife of 33 years.
Okay, good. And you can go ahead and read the second one if you'd like.
Seeking support from others can be helpful, especially in cases where you think you might be in danger of losing your job. They may help you see things differently.
Okay, very good. That's not on the screen. Let me see. Okay. So, are there any vocab questions? Everything's okay? So this is one solution maybe to dealing with the stress of your job. Your coworkers could be supportive and also the other people in your lives. Okay, so what do you think about this way of dealing with the stress of your job? Is it helpful to have others?
Well, I think it's just like counseling or going to a shrink, isn't it?
Well, it could be, but in this case it's usually, I think it's referring more to your friends.
Yeah.
Your friends or your family, your coworkers. But you could, if you need to go to counseling, that's also a good option. You can go to counseling to help deal with the stress of your job. Okay, yeah, any other comments? Let's go to the next section, and we have Desarrollo. How are you?
Hi, how are you? My real name
Very
is
nice to see you.
nice to meet you. My real name is Jose.
Okay, I figured that wasn't your real name.
Right.
Okay, Jose, where are you from?
I'm from Spain.
Very good. And would you like to read us this next section?
Okay. People of all occupations often place their self-worth in their jobs because they see them as much more than a task. Their heart and soul is in their job, so their identity is wrapped in it, which is great. But when your job is threatened or you make a mistake, that makes it all the more harder.
Okay, perfect. The only pronunciation correction I have is this word wrapped. Okay, so when you have an ed at the end, you don't always add the extra syllable. So this one would be wrapped.
Okay, so it would be wrap, isn't it?
Right, wrapped. Okay?
Okay.
Right. So you do pronounce the D at the end. It's kind of hard to hear sometimes, but it's wrapped. Wrapped. Okay, good. So any questions before we talk about this section? Are there any vocab questions?
No, for me it's okay. I mean,
Okay, so what do you think? Do you know people, or maybe you have your heart and soul in your job? What does that mean, have your heart and soul in your job?
I think that some people just live for work. So they put all their effort working.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with the sentence that if your job fails, then you have a problem. Then you feel very depressed, and I think that's the sense of this sentence. Am I right?
Right. Mm-hmm. So if you have your heart and soul in your job, then if you lose your job, that makes it much harder to deal with the situation.
Definitely.
So do you think it's good to be so passionate about your job, or can it be mostly a problem?
I really don't know. I think that I mean, if it is a passion for you, I think you have to put your heart in it, but you're gonna have problem later. But if it is what you love, I think it's okay. The point is that if you just do it for getting money, then I think it can be a problem.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. Anybody else want to comment?
I think that we should have that we should make our job with passion, but we take in mind that we have to job for living, and we don't have living for job.
Right, exactly. So you're doing your job to make a living, but you don't want to live for your job. Okay, and that could be an opinion. Does anybody else think the opposite way? That you should live for your job? Nobody thinks that.
Well, I think the job is one of the most important things in the life of a man, because in that way the man express his abilities, and he gives sense to his own life. But there are other things in the life that are very important also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so maybe just finding that balance. Okay, any other comments?
Yeah, I think so that in some people like tennis players, they live for their jobs because they really enjoy playing tennis and they travel a lot and they enjoy playing tennis.
Right, so do you think that's good that they live for their job then?
Mm, For some people like them, I think so because their jobs don't last for a large period. Uh, Maybe their career only lasts 10 years or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so maybe for athletes it's a little bit better just because it will be a short period of time where they're completely consumed in their job and then maybe they can relax and focus on other things.
Yeah.
Okay, good point. Any other comments? Okay, let's go to the next section then. And we have Gustavo again. Would you like to read this one?
Yes, it helps to get perspective on the situation by stepping away from the workplace to focus on everything else that you have. I think it makes the support aspect all the more important. You really need to focus on the other parts of your life.
Okay, very good. So this is kind of in agreement with what you were saying before, that there are other aspects to your life that you may need to focus on as well. Okay, very good. Any questions or comments? Okay, let's look at the next section, and we have Michele.
Yes. Employers are. Sorry, I have to change the page. I can't read here. Employers also benefit from keeping their employees happy. Most people are focused on the outward display of anger and far less aware of the effects of being afraid or sad about one's status in the organization. These emotions are the honest that are more likely to cause people to leave their job, she said.
Okay, very good. Let's look at this word ones. These emotions are the ones. Okay, so ones is a pronunciation there.
Yes, ones.
Any questions?
What does he exactly mean with most people are focused on the outward display of anger and far less aware of the effects of being afraid? What does this mean?
Yeah, it says most people are focused on the outward displays. So they think more about the surface emotions and they don't think about their internal emotions.
Okay.
Okay, very good. Any other questions? So now we've been talking more about the mistakes in the workplace and how that can lead to stress in your life. And now we're moving to employers. Okay, so employers also benefit from keeping their employees happy. When it says most people, it's talking about the employers are usually worried about outward emotions, but they should also be thinking about their employees' inward emotions. Okay, so maybe those emotions can affect their job performance as well. So what do you think? Do you think that that's important even for employers to have happy employees?
Yes, it's very important because this has to do with the productivity also. If the person are happy, they are more, they will do their job better, and the productivity is also better.
Right. Any other comments?
I would like to say that I think it should be like that, but in many times there is a recent news about Yahoo because most of the people there they were teleworking, and the CEO just have stopped that. So I think it should be like that, but in the real world, I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. Any comments on that? I think it was a good point, Gustavo, what you made, what you said about the employers worrying about productivity, because even if they're not concerned about the happiness of their employees, they're still concerned about making money. And if their employees are happy, then they're making more money.
Don't many companies nowadays consider that argument, like those famous companies located in Silicon Valley?
They consider which argument?
That employees have to be happy in order to be productive.
Yeah. So you'll find it in a lot of companies that they try to provide services and special things for their employees, keep them happy so that they will be more productive. Okay, good. Any other comments or questions?
I think.
Go ahead, Gustavo.
Okay, I think that this point also help to the relation between the employees was better.
Yeah, so maybe it can help the relationship between the employees and the employers. Okay, very good. Let's go to the next section. And we have Michele, you just went, right?
Sorry?
You just read? Did you just read before?
Yes, I just read.
Okay, good. Sorry, my memory is failing me. Okay, let's go to Rafael. Would you like to read this next one?
Okay. Could you hear me? Science has first public mistake, James said. He was learned to handle workplace stress by maintaining an emotional detachment while making decisions, by using logic and following the standard operating procedures. everything is no longer personal, just business, even errors. I then go home and engage my hobbies.
Okay, very good. Let me correct a couple words. This first word, since. Since. Okay. Since his first public mistake. And the other one is procedures. Procedures.
Procedures. Okay, thank you.
Okay, everything else is good. What are some questions here?
Does it mean detachment? Does it mean spread?
Right, it says to handle workplace stress by maintaining an emotional detachment. Can anybody explain what that means, emotional detachment?
Yeah, in my opinion, it's about you need to disconnect your personal life of your job.
That's okay. I got it.
Right, exactly. So detach your emotions from your decision making. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so what are some comments? Do you think that you should detach yourself from your decisions, detach your emotions from your decisions in the workplace?
I think this is true, because sometimes when we are influenced by the emotion, we don't choose the better options, and when we are cold, or our brains are cold, we act better.
Okay, yeah. So if you're not using your emotions, you're just using your brain and logic, maybe you can make clear decisions. Any other comments?
Yeah, but I think in everywhere, in every place, in every work, you have emotions, and it's very important. And when you have a decision, when you get a decision, you have a very important emotional emotional detachment, emotional compulsion. And the most important thing in hospital and in everywhere, I think, is manage to your emotions, to manage your emotions, because every time you have emotions in everything, and the most important is to make a good gestion of this. Is my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. So you think that emotions are important in your decision-making process, but you still have to manage them.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah. Does anybody agree with that? Or maybe disagree?
Yeah, I
Well,
see his point, but in my opinion, it's important to do that because most of times the interest of the business where you work is different than your interest, or and if you take consideration of your emotions, you would do things that are bad for the business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so maybe Victor, you think that still you should keep detachment, so that you are in accordance with the business and not just your personal opinions.
You should be trying to be, should try to be objective in your job.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good point. Any other comments? We're almost out of time. Sorry we didn't get through the article, but I'll post the link again just so if you'd like to continue reading it, you can. But does anybody have a final comment on this idea of connecting your emotions to your job, and maybe how does it how does it solve the problem or add to the problem of mistakes in the workplace?
Well, I think you have to differentiate between compassion or emotion. If you're being compassionate doing your work, this could be a good thing. But if you're just emotional, like being angry or being selfish, that would be, well, unproductive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gustavo, did you want to say something as well?
Yes, I think the emotions are important, but in your job, you must let the emotion, because if you want to sell something to a client, and if the client is rough, and you don't have to let the emotion control you. Your objective is sell the product to the client.
Mm-hmm.
That is your objective.
But I am agree with you, Gustavo. But in everything you have emotion. If you are with a rude client, you have a lot of emotions. The most important is to control, as you said, to control that emotion, because emotion is always it, and you take a lot of decisions with emotions. The most important is to control it, not to make a negation of it or feel it doesn't exist. Control it, perhaps, is the
Right.
point.
Okay, yeah. So we're always going to be feeling emotions, and if you want to be in a professional setting, sometimes we have to control those emotions. Okay, so good point. We will go ahead and stop here. I'll take the presentation down, but I did again give you another link to the document if you would like to continue the article. So thank you everybody for coming to the class and participating. It was nice to see you all, and I hope you have a wonderful day, okay?
Thank you, teacher.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Everyone,
Thank you,
take
teacher.
care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye, teacher.